The Congressional Black Caucus's Political Action Committee has announced their endorsement of Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Now, CBC's chairman G.K. Butterfield described the vote by the Political Action Committee's board for Clinton as, quote, overwhelming and near unanimous. He said, "We must have a president who is knowledgeable on both domestic and foreign policy. Our new president must understand that too many Americans languish in persistent poverty every day. There is no question in my mind, and in our mind, that one single candidate, one, possesses the qualifications, experience, and temperament to be the next president of the United States. And that person is none other than Secretary Hillary Rodham Clinton." Now, of course, this is significant because it's coming pretty close to South Carolina, to the caucus, right? Or to the primary in South Carolina. Nevada's a caucus. Of course, both candidates, especially Bernie Sanders, he's looking to get the African American vote. Now, right now, that is solidly in Hillary Clinton's camp, for the most part. Senator Sanders wants to cut into that and get that support. I mean, they call that part of the Clinton firewall, which is, of course, supposed to stop Sanders from winning any more states. So there's that. Now, according to The Hill, Hillary Clinton is seen as having a huge advantage in terms of African American lawmakers as well as support. And about 10 black lawmakers had attended the conference that basically made the endorsement, right? So, polling has shown that there's a tremendous support in the African American community for Hillary Clinton. Now, everybody who's watched this show before knows that I'm a Senator Sanders supporter. But being so, I'm also not going to sit and preach about how Senator Sanders is better for black people or will be better for black people. I urge everyone to do the research and to decide by themselves. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and white-splain, right? I'm going to let you guys do the research and figure out whether or not Senator Sanders is better for you. A lot of people who do the research say, okay, well, hey, he actually is a pretty good candidate. But as I said, that's on you to do. Now, Keith Ellison, who is one of the members of the Congressional Black Caucus that has endorsed Senator Sanders, pointed out on Twitter that the PAC's endorsement is separate from actually the Congressional Black Caucus coalition of members in Congress. The CBC has not endorsed anyone. So let's get this straight. This is a PAC. This is a political action committee. And what do PACs do? They gather money. Now, what's interesting is where they get their money. And this, I go to The Intercept. Now, according to The Intercept, in recent years, the 46-member Congressional Black Caucus has become a force within the Democratic Party, with key members working to actually undermine President Barack Obama's Wall Street regulations, Dodd-Frank. Now, Dodd-Frank, I mean, you ask Hillary Clinton, she's like, Dodd-Frank is one of the strongest pieces of legislation against the banks. Is it? Well, it seems to be pretty well undermined and chipped away at. It's actually very weak. It's very weak regulation. And it turns out that CBC members have actually worked to undermine it, to chip away at it. In a 2014 report, the Huffington Post reported that some of the group's lawmakers, quote, pushed for a host of seemingly arcane measures that would undermine Dodd-Frank's rules on financial derivatives, the complex contracts at the heart of the 2008 meltdown. Now, The Intercept reported that some of the group's members played a key role in pushing legislation attempting to prevent the CFB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, right, from cracking down on racial discrimination in auto lending that cost individual African American and Hispanic consumers hundreds of dollars. Why would they do that? Why? Follow the money. According to data compiled by the Nonpartisan Center for Responsive Politics, the CBC PAC that is endorsing Hillary Clinton is financed in part by contributions from political action committees linked to a host of major corporations with business before the next presidential administration. During the last 2 election cycles, the group received donations from pharmaceutical giants Pfizer, Eli Lilly, Merck, and Amgen, consumer goods companies Coke, Pepsi, and Walmart, and Wall Street banks and trade groups including the Mortgage Bankers Association, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, and UBS. The latter a Clinton Foundation donor that she aided as Secretary of State, according to the Wall Street Journal. In 2010, the New York Times reported that cigarette companies, internet poker operators, beer brewers, and the rent-to-own industry were among companies that made major contributions to the CBC's separate foundation. The Times said the money was used to, and you'll love this, fund conventions where, quote, lobbyists and executives who give to caucus charities get to mingle with lawmakers. Those are the facts. The CBC has gotten tons of money from banks in corporate America, including Goldman Sachs. Is it any wonder why the CBC PAC has endorsed Hillary Clinton, who's received money from Goldman Sachs and who sat on the board of Walmart? This isn't slander. These are facts. You gotta follow the money. You have to follow the money. Now, how those groups serve the African American community, I can't really say. But I can't imagine it does very much. So, now, interestingly enough, right? Keith Ellison, back to him. Now, he pointed out that this is not the CBC. It's a PAC. And the CBC PAC leadership endorsed Hillary Clinton without consulting CBC membership. In a tweet posted earlier this morning, Representative Keith Ellison tweets out, Congressional Black Caucus has not endorsed in presidential, separate CBC PAC endorsed without input from CBC membership, including me. Now, have we seen this before? Human Rights Campaign, Planned Parenthood, and the SEIU, and a lot of others, unions that have endorsed Hillary Clinton, they've all given endorsements to her based on the board voting in favor to endorse her. Most, if not all of them, did not poll their membership. There's a great deal of them that didn't. It all fell on the board, and the board said, let's endorse Hillary Clinton. I find that problematic. Now, I'm not saying that the membership of the CBC PAC or the membership of the SEIU or any of the other trade organizations or groups that have endorsed Senator Sanders wouldn't support Hillary Clinton. I'm not saying that. The point being, and I've made this point before, is that they didn't even ask. They didn't practice democracy. And look, if they had asked their membership, polled their membership, and it came out to be Hillary Clinton overwhelmingly, I would have no issue. That is democracy. That's great. I like it when they actually ask their membership and say, who do you want? And you see a lot of the groups that endorse Senator Sanders, that's what happened. They said, who do you want to support? Let's take internal polling. Let's do surveys. And a lot of them came out with Senator Sanders on top, and that led to an endorsement from the group as a whole. Now, in cases where that might not be the case, that's fine, because in democracy, sometimes it doesn't turn out the way that you want it to. But the point is that you ask the memberships. And it seems rather undemocratic when you don't consult your membership on endorsements. When Senator Sanders pointed out that Planned Parenthood and the Human Rights Campaign was part of the establishment, or I should say their board was part of the establishment, the board that endorsed Hillary Clinton, this is exactly what he meant. This is what he meant. Not the group, not that the group isn't doing great work, but that the boards are an established power. That's what establishment means. You're an established power. When you're an established power, you don't want anything to threaten that power. That's all that means. Not that they're not doing great work, not that they're not a vital part of the community, not that they're a bad thing, just that they have established interests in keeping the status quo. That's all that means. And see, this is the problem, right? Boards that vote without asking their membership for their input is something that no one should be in favor of. You poll your membership, you ask your membership. I believe in asking the membership and not allowing a board to make the decisions. And once again, that's the whole problem with this and this PAC and this endorsement. Despite the fact that they've gotten tons and tons of millions of dollars from corporations and banks and pharmaceutical companies. Even without all that, it's even more troubling, but understandable, that they ignored their membership, didn't ask them, didn't consult them, and of course, endorsed the establishment candidate. It's no surprise, but it is rather disheartening.